those with the skill sets to do the things that we cannot do. Surround yourself with the right people. Welcome back to the CroftCast, first real CroftCast edition of 2021. I know what you're all thinking. It's been a minute. Well, depending on whenever you finish watching or listening to the last episode. Now, if you listened to that back when it came out around Christmas Day-ish, somewhere in there, it could have been a minute. However, I have provided some additional content. Been a little bit busy, had the holidays, other things going on. Didn't forget about you guys. I've been working on some things to kind of, I guess, I don't want to say better myself, but just exploring different avenues. Now, I had hinted around that, some had said, is the CroftCast going away? Not the intention, not the plan. Sometimes other things just come up, and we may take a little sidebar, derail, refocus, energies go into other things. Can't do everything. If you try to do everything, then is my hat crooked? Maybe it's my head. I don't know. Maybe I do have a crooked head. Maybe the bill of my hat's just crooked. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Talk about sidebar and derailing. That was definitely a sidebar and a derail, which, hold on, we just realized we're derailed myself there. Chotomate, go to side. All right, maybe that'll go now. So for the audio portion of that, we may have missed some of the audio, but to recap and catch everybody and give everybody back up to speed, 2021, we're here. We're in it. We're 9 days at this point into it, depending on when you listen or watch this. But did a recap show on 2020 and the things that and how it wasn't that bad for me. Bad for some people, definitely. I'm not saying that it wasn't. You can go back and listen or watch that episode. I'll try to remember to leave a link to that episode if you missed it or want to catch up. But I'm ready to take on 2021. Now there's some different challenges, same but different, maybe. So in 2021, getting serious. I mean, I'm serious. Well, as serious as I can be. No, but seriously, I'm getting serious about got to find a place. I really do. Tired of paying somebody else's mortgage, and things are going to be what they're going to be. So time just buck up, buckaroo, and get on down the road, or up the road, or across the road. I don't want to move across the road, but my neighbors live next door. So, hold on. Let me tell you how I got there. Sometimes we have to look and see and observe the subtle hints that we're given. I was in the kitchen. I was cleaning up. And I look over. Gus hadn't said anything. Not like, hey, you want to go outside? He can't talk. He has no opposable thumbs. He could bark, but then, what does the bark mean? You got to figure all that out. I look over, and he's laying there in the floor. That's what, they do that a lot. They lay on the floor. But his head's resting on the ball. Okay? He's realized that I'm in the middle of something, and I'll get the hint, which I did. I finished cleaning up the mess I'd made in the kitchen. Started the reseasoning process on a cast iron skillet. Got it going in the oven. Look over and go, all right, buddy, let's go. Well, I'm going to go outside. Then my neighbors are outside. And I thought it odd that she was wearing a mask in the backyard. And so she's outside. Her dog's out there. And then Eva's going over there to the fence. And Haley's petting her. Not my daughter Haley, but my neighbor. And so I walk over there, and she's like, we bought a house, so we're showing this one to some other people, hence the mask. Anyway, she takes the mask down, we continue the conversation. But with that hint that the dog gave me, and the fact that I'd already been seriously contemplating, relocating and finding a house. I don't want to have to break in new neighbors. I mean, I don't. I understand. I know what you're going to say. Well, John, if you go buy a house, then you're going to have to break in new neighbors. Yes, but I want to do that as few times as possible. Okay. So I get the hint from the dog, go outside, talk to my neighbor, and then we start talking about just how competitive the housing market is here in the Austin area. Now, I'm not saying that I want to stay in the Austin area. Austin-ish, Central Texas, yes. But I'm super happy for them. They'd gone through, I think she said 8 or 9. They'd put in like 8 or 9 offers and like get in these competitive bidding wars, and people are asking so much more than what the houses were worth a year ago. And now people are kind of settling down, got a lot of work from home situation. She'll still have to go into the office, a few times a week. But really, with all of the work from home, work remote, and how companies are really understanding and embracing the fact that their employees can be productive, not in the office. I mean, if 2020 showed us anything, that's possible. Yes, there are some jobs where you do need to go into the office or whatever your designated work is. You can't physically do it from home. I get that. But for those of us that can, this is the time for companies, and some are, to recognize and realize that you don't need the physical office. You can have an autonomous workforce, which also means you don't necessarily have to live in that city or in that area. I've worked for companies before. We had remote people, salespeople across the United States, things of that nature. And occasionally have to come into headquarters. Okay. But don't think that you have to continue to work where you work. There are opportunities that are out there across the country, across the state, across the world, where you can telecommute. So going back to where am I going to live? I'm going to stay in the Central Texas area. I like it here. Austin has its pros and its cons. I don't really go to Austin, though I do technically live in Austin. If I need to go to the grocery store, it's like living in the country, because I literally go to town. I drive to the next town over. And now it's not far, it's 6 miles away, but there's really nothing in between here and there. It's a highway. And when I was talking to my neighbor earlier, she's like, really going to miss, being able to just run over to Bee Cave. So they were doing the same thing. We've got a little store right here, a mile from the house, but it's small and options are limited. And you're like, well, you could go into Austin. It's like 3 miles to that HEB. Sure, it is, but it's a 20-minute drive. I can get over to the next town down the highway quicker than I can to the one that's right over here. And I'm pointing east and west, and y'all can't really see what I'm doing, but and it may come across backwards on the camera. I don't know, but anyway, that way and that way, they're opposite directions. That's your geography lesson for today. East is the opposite of west. In case you need to clear any of that up for you. Anyway, but taking the subtle hints that sometimes those, like, that led to a conversation, and got to catch up. Hadn't seen them in a while. I was gone. They were holidays and everything. People are going different places. So again, really like them. they're moving. Super happy for them. Glad they finally got a place. But had I not taken the hint of the ball, wouldn't have had that conversation. So sometimes we have to pay attention to what's going on around us and open our minds and observe. If we're hyper focused, especially if we're focused on ourselves, then we're definitely not going to be focused on others. And one of the things I said, I've been working on some other things, and this is your typical John Croft fashion. We're just bouncing all over the place here. I'd been working on some songwriting, which there was, I kind of alluded to. There was one of the videos which I did. It did not get published audio only. So for those audio only listeners, I may go back and add it on there because it was about 20 minutes, and I did talk for about maybe like the first 7 to 11 minutes, and then the rest of it was just me trying to figure out a chord progression on the guitar. Anyway, the video is out there. But the songwriting process it's unique and interesting, and it's really, it'd probably be no different. Well, no, it's going to be different. It would be different than writing a book, especially a fictional book. But for me, writing a song starts with just these. I started the entire thing completely the wrong way for me, for how I needed to get through it. I was trying to force it. You can't. It will fight you every step of the way. And the same thing's true in just about anything in life. If we try to force things, sure, you might could get it done. You may end up with a result. It may not be the result that is actually needed. So once I just let my mind open up, it was 9:00 on a Sunday morning. I'd already had a band meeting with the Big Kahuna and talking about some other song ideas for the Turkey Buzzard Productions, Red Dirt Troubadours, Bird Creek album. We've got bits and pieces. We don't have any songs. But then he said, why don't you just write things down? Just lines. That's all they are, is thoughts. So then these thoughts started popping into my head. Started writing them down. I had pages of notes. Just things that were just coming to me. And then sat down over the next few days and partially wrote the song. So they were my thoughts. Put them on paper. And some people have a journal, a diary. I have always been horrible about documenting my thoughts. So that was part of the CroftCast, and how it came about was just getting my thoughts out there, getting things off of my mind. So this is an outlet that has been beneficial to me in getting through 2020. Opened up my heart, opened up my mind, opened up, excuse me, just looking, the dog sitting there with the ball, taking the hint and running with it and seeing where it goes. Now, I had a good idea of that was kind of obvious that he wasn't tired and just wanted to use it as a pillow. Not typically what he does. But pay attention. The clues are there. Just have to look, I mean, it's no different than we've talked about before when you pray and you ask God for something and then shows it to you, but it wasn't what you wanted. That doesn't mean that he didn't tell you. Give you the hint. Give you the clue. Got to pay attention. So, one of the, this completely unrelated. No, I was going to talk about chili. We can. Should we? We had the beans or the no beans debate discussion before. Some of you are true bean haters. Some of you aren't. I got friends and family on both sides of the camp. I told you I could go either way on this. Come to find out. Well, not come to find out. I'm telling you, so maybe now you come to find out. But we got a little cold front coming through. So I had some inspiration to make some chili. One, it was cold. Two, having a soup conversation. Which, you know, is chili a soup? I don't know. I guess we would have to, maybe I'll remember to put a link, or description or something right up here. Of the definition of soup. I know as you're thinking, John, I'm watching this at 11 o'clock at night and you're drinking coffee. Well, you got to remember, it's not 11 o'clock at night for me right now. So, just in case you wondered how the time-lapse space continuum thing works, it's not. You may be wondering, you can see part of the t-shirt here, but let me see if I can hold it up. Let me move the microphone. There we go. All right. So this is one that I hadn't worn in a while. Decided to break it out. Well, I hadn't worn it in a while because I got fat. I mean, I swole up like a tick. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not still overweight. However, I'm feeling a lot better. I am. Now, I'm not trying to get skinny by any means. It is wintertime. Got to keep a little insulation. However, but going back for the past few months, really refocused things in my life, and I told y'all, I'm in a better mental spot thanks to this outlet, thanks to some of you, and I feel good. I do. I feel a lot better once I find a house, and I can check that one off the list. Make new neighbors. I don't want them really close. I mean. No, I don't. Not. I mean, yes, it would be nice to live in the middle of 100 acres. However, that's not going to happen around here. If I had that that billionaire money, then yeah, we're doing wherever we want. However, not happening. So, got to find a place. I've been doing some research and looking on my own. Bit the bullet, went ahead, contacted the real estate agent. I need some help. I can't do this alone. And that's part of what this, again, going back to what this program is about. Not doing things on our own. Relying on our tribe, those around us, those with the skill sets to do the things that we cannot do. Surround yourself with the right people. Have your friends, have your family, and you can have family that are friends. There's nothing wrong with that. It's maybe difficult to have friends that are family if it works the other way. Well, I mean, I guess you could have a friend and then they become your family, i.e. getting married. And it's completely possible. But anyway, that's the big boy thing to do on my list. I don't make New Year's resolutions. I'm not that guy. I went on this mental journey well before the new year. I went on this getting back in better shape journey well before the new year. And we have to take action and make decisions and follow through with them when it's the appropriate time to do that. And the appropriate time to do that is not at the beginning of the year. It's whenever it needs to be done. So that's I guess my little soapbox there. And some of you may know that, some of you may not. Still, again, I think my hat's crooked, but we'll roll with it. Anyway, hat has nothing to do with the show, other than the fact that it's got an American flag on it. I love America. Whatever's going on, whatever happens, right, wrong, and different, I do love the country. I'm not going to get into what is going on. I'm just going to tell you that it's a good time to get out of town. I don't mean like I'm not leaving the country. I need to get out of town. If you need to get out of town, sometimes you might need to go to town because you're already out of town. I'm in town. I need to get out of town. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate, going back to the song, I did put that out there. Lots of positive feedback on that. And it's greatly appreciated. Again, it's another outlet for me to get my thoughts out there, to express myself. And the feedback on that was really good and greatly appreciated. Just like I appreciate the feedback that I get on the show. Notice the camera's not moving around, and I'll try to make sure to put in lots of little clicky things and links and stuff to pop up for those that like that. But I appreciate you guys. I do. And with that, I'll catch y'all on the flip side.